Welcome to the end of day review for Wednesday, the 24th of January 2024. As usual, starting off with the economic calendar, we had high impact news events for both GBP and the USD. Starting off with the London session, we had positive PMI news for the GBP, and as a result, we saw GBP trading to the upside. And then for the US session, we had positive PMI, which then meant that we actually had some pullback or shorting of the GBPUSD. I took one loss today and I'll cover it in my review, but I think let's start with the 4 hour and then we can move on from there. Someone was asking about the indicators that I use. Maybe let me go to my 5 minute. So inside bars, those are just these gold candles that you see here, or the blue ones there. And then days of the week are just printing the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that you're seeing right there. And then the Asia range, that one in particular, I use it to find the exact Asia range box, which you can see right here. And then AGFX watermark is how I get some wording above my charts. And then obviously the date right here, the pair and the time frame. Then lastly, I've got sessions which simply just highlight the trading sessions that I have. So you'll see the yellow Frankfurt, blue for London, and orange, or rather red, for the New York session. And this pretty much ends at the London cross where my trading is done for the day. So that's just the indicators that I use. Returning to the end of day review, starting off from perhaps from the daily, what we can see is that yesterday, which was Tuesday, that reset our daily bias. So today was a neutral day and we could trade either direction. And then in terms of the 4 hour, what we could see is that yesterday we actually body broke the last valid 4H primary pro-trend previously confirmed OB, and since everything to the left in this 4H primary leg has been mitigated, there's no further reason to consider longs, and there was just reasons to trade short in terms of my trade plan and the narrative that I've built around it. Again, from a narrative perspective, we recently changed character, and that essentially means that we operating in uncertain scenarios because we don't know if the market trend is going to show bearish or is this just a liquidity sweep, and then we'll actually use that to fuel the move to actually take out this swing high right here, and the bullish market structure will continue. As a result of that, I need 4H backing for all of my trade ideas, and then, as you know, substructure targets and IRL on the time frame I'm trading. But in addition to that, we can't trade against 4H OBs until a triangle is developed. You can refer to yesterday's end of day or New York outlook where I cover that concept. So having said all of that, shorts were on board. We essentially coming into the London session, we were waiting for price to get into this primary OB. After it got into the primary OB, we looked for a secondary leg to develop. The reason why I say secondary leg is because this is a primary leg OB reacting from this pro trend and breaking some 4H OBs validated as a primary OB. Because of that, any 5 minute legs that are developed are considered secondary, and that's exactly where I ended up taking the loss. It appears that my charts are stuck. I'm just going to refresh it and then I'll be back. Okay, so my charts are functional again. Essentially what I was talking about was my loss. So we reacted to this 4H primary OB, and if we look on the 5 minute, what we can see is that we actually have a wick break of this structure point, which I will highlight out now. So this is your higher high, your higher low, your higher high. You can see we have that nice body break there, which makes this our low, and as you can see it's been wicked there. At that point the secondary leg was validated and I decided to take the entry. The one thing that I was slightly concerned about is that the fact that we did have red folder news. However, this is PMI and it isn't as significant as something like CPI or interest rates. So that typically means that we don't get these large spikes or large spread increases, which means that taking a trade does make sense. And if it was going to play out, it was likely, because this was about half an hour to 35 minutes before the news release, it's possible that price would come in, trigger us in, and then trickle down. And then when news is released, if it's in our favor, it will push down or push up. Obviously, we would like to be break even, but that never really materialized, and we just continued upwards using our entry as liquidity, which is perfectly fine. And we can understand why this happened because the news was positive. So I guess some of the guys in the banks anticipated it, and that's why we saw this upward move. Anyway, that's a loss. It's per my trading plan, so I'm perfectly comfortable with that. It didn't sway my emotions at all. Obviously, the loss sucks and whatnot, but I know I have a defined edge and I executed it, and the outcome is out of my control. So that's that loss, and then obviously we took out the significant substructure, which essentially invalidated any longs. Not that longs were valid anyway. It just meant that further longs didn't make sense. And then we came deeper into this 4H protein unconfirmed OB, which is now actually a protein OB, and any legs we develop on the 5 minute or 15 minute for that matter will be considered primary legs. Having said that, we did actually on the 5 minute develop this primary leg. However, we couldn't trade short at any point in this leg because London news was supported of long, so the only way we could get short was to wait for the USD news, which is actually quite late in the session, so it's about an hour 15 minutes before the end of the London cross. And then what you can see is New York put in a new high of the day, which was fine. We just needed New York red folder news to support that high of the day will hold, and because of the news release, we did get that confirmation. We developed a new primary leg because obviously we wicked this, so we reset that primary leg, and now we developed this new primary leg, and we had a valid entry point with this nice extreme POI being lined up quite nicely. Unfortunately, price didn't pull back in time, and the end of the session happened, which is maybe a fortunate thing because it is quite late in the session, and the likelihood of volatility kicking or volume kicking in after session is slim. So this was the trade that I did position myself with right here, but that didn't materialize, and that's perfectly fine. So we close the day with a loss, and we simply move on to tomorrow, doing the same analysis, ensuring it's per our trading plan. And yeah, and that's pretty much it. That's my outlook for today. I hope you had a good trading day, irrespective of whether you took a loss or you took a win. Just make sure that it's per your trading plan and that you are consistently executing all the trades that fit your trade plan, including timing aspects. Other than that, we'll chat again tomorrow for the London outlook. Oh, one more thing, I will overlay my fresh EOD review. I just thought it will be helpful since I haven't done one or overlaid one in quite some time, so you'll see that at the end of the video.